The Indianapolis Colts had another dominant victory in Week 8, and now they get to travel to Pittsburgh to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, who suffered a tough loss on Sunday Night Football. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this big AFC Week 9 matchup and provide our predictions at the end. But before we get into it, though, be sure to leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button, get notified when new videos come out. And Ryan, dominant performance once again by Indianapolis here. We're talking a lot about MVP candidates with Patrick Mahomes or maybe even Baker Mayfield or Drake May. But shoot, man, Jonathan Taylor, he's having a hell of a year so
Yeah.
far. 12 carries, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns, an 80-yard long touchdown bomb so far this to well, I think that was like the game was already over.
Yeah.
Once when it game was over when it started. Let's put it that way. But in general, though, already 850 yards on the season, 12 total rushing touchdowns. He's got 2 receiving touchdowns. Nearly should have been 3 rushing touchdowns in this one here, but just a little pitch by Daniel Jones made it a pass. And so, but dominant performance overall, and even too in the receiving yards. 25 catches for 206 yards as well too. So great season so far, and we're only halfway through. And I have a feeling he's going to have a lot of opportunities here against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense because Pittsburgh as well, they're just giving up a bunch of yards. They 35-25 loss to the Green Bay Packers here, gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter, really allowed Jordan Love and this receiving crew to just throw all over them. I think a lot of it, I will say, was I think the scheming by Matt LaFleur. And I say that specifically as Shane Steichen's scheming. He's got this offense buzzing.
Oh
It
yeah.
really is. From Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell, Alec Pierce. He's coming alive here in a contract year as well. And probably then the biggest addition of all, Tyler Warren, rookie tight end out of Penn State. Just everything is flying together. Right. What does Pittsburgh need to do to try and slow down this Indianapolis Colts offense?
So I think you look at this offense, and to me, I say the weak link with air quotes because he's been phenomenal this year is going to be Daniel Jones. I think if you can consistently get pressure on Daniel Jones, I think we will start to see him kind of revert back to maybe what we saw at the Giants. And honestly, that's just a guess because we haven't really seen anybody consistently get after him this season. He's been living pretty lavishly
We saw it's
behind
a
that Colts
crazy
offensive
stat.
line.
Just to add on to that, the Colts had their first sack on third down this past
Yeah,
week. It's
yeah,
wild. It's
in
week
week
8.
8. So, like, that's crazy. They'd only given up 6 sacks all year going into this game, and now I believe, where are they? Alphabet. They gave up, I think, 3 in that game, to the Tennessee Titans. They gave up 1 before that, then the third down sack, and then 1, I think, late in the game. But yeah, this offense is number 1 in total yards. They're 5th in passing, 6th in rushing. They're the second best offense in terms of sacks allowed. And then they're the 4th best offense in terms of turnovers. So it's a really interesting kind of dynamic that this offense has because I think it really runs through Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones is kind of the point guard there. And this offensive line is like the enforcer. Because they're just so physically dominant against everybody. So I think if Pittsburgh wants to have a shot at winning this, I think they need to consistently find a way to get after Daniel Jones and maybe make him make some errant throws, make him make some uncharacteristic turnovers this year. And I think that's going to be their best way to attack this offense. But
Well, sorry, I was just gonna say to add on to that point though, and I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. I even feel too just to show how good this offense has been. I feel like that's still even kind of nitpicky because even if you
yeah,
do get pressure on Daniel Jones, the way Steichen is getting this offense set up, his communication with them, Daniel Jones where knows where the check down guy is. If there's pressure coming one
yeah.
way, he's dumped the ball off to Jonathan Taylor, he's dumped the ball off to Tyler Warren if he's in the flat, or Josh Downs, whoever's in the flat. He's getting the ball out of his hand really quickly.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is we saw a couple times even against the Titans, him standing in the pocket and delivering throws with somebody in his face, whether they were just driving an offensive lineman back or they actually got a guy off of a block and was able to hit Daniel Jones as he was making the throw, and he still was able to make the throw. So that even then, if you get pressure and you get after him, it's not a guarantee he's going to make an errant throw. Pittsburgh's defense, though, I believe is one of the most expensive defenses, if not the most expensive defense in the NFL. They should get a refund. This defense is 30th in total yards allowed. They're 32nd in passing yards allowed, 17th in rushing yards allowed. They are 9th in sacks and 7th in total takeaways. But again, the yardage has just been abysmal.
Well, and one of the things too, and they have had some injuries as well too.
Yeah.
Even in this past game, who was it? Deshaun Elliott. He had a pretty
Yeah.
scary looking injury as well too, where it looked like he had to get carted off as well. And so like there
Yeah.
is
I saw Daniel
some,
Aquale got hurt as well.
yeah,
So
yes. So they have been battling some issues in the secondary as well too. But I think one of the things though that I've noticed just over these past couple of weeks when watching them go up against the Bengals and then now against the Green Bay Packers, it is why do they give up inside leverage so much? Like you go
yeah.
back and look at that Bengals game, and it felt like it was just T. Higgins or Jamar Chase 5 yard slant every time. And then even to Tucker Kraft, he got a lot of his yards from it felt like inside slants. And I don't know what it is with their defensive scheming as well too, because like I like the secondary that they've got. It's like in general, it's a little bit older. There's definitely kind of been a win now. Like if you go look at Darius Slay and then like Jalen Ramsey as well
Yeah.
too. Even Juan Thornhill a little bit. He's been around for some time. But in general though, you look at the name on paper, this is a good secondary room. And so I think for me, what's interesting is like why are they scheming themselves up this way to put the secondary under the pressure? Because like you're averaging 273 yards passing yards allowed per game here, and let me even see here. Where's the next lowest though? I'm curious like who on the next lowest is. Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it's passing defense worse than Dallas Cowboys, and Dallas Cowboys defense like nobody like this is what we expected from the Dallas Cowboys defense,
Yeah.
and the Pittsburgh Steelers is being worse than that. Yeah, and so and actually it's even worse than Cincinnati Bengals pass defense.
That's saying, and that's saying a lot.
That's saying a lot that this pass defense is worse than those two pass defenses. And to your point, it's very name heavy, and that I think is what's shocking to me as well too. I kind of expected the Steelers offense to be the way that it is under Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is older, yes, but also too really outside of DK Metcalf, like not really too much else in the receiving room, like some fine guys and like Calvin Austin, that's great. Also, too, Arthur Smith being your offensive coordinator, going to be very tight end focused in general. And I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, as you can tell. Arthur Smith was my former head coach. Hate the offensive system that he runs. I think it's very it's very unoriginal, in my opinion, and also not super effective overall. But I think Aaron Rodgers masked some of that. But I think in general, though, I think the main problem with this Steelers team, especially too after watching it more and more over these past couple of weeks, is just how atrocious this pass defense is. And that's what this game's
Yeah.
going to come down to. So even if you do get pressure on Daniel Jones, they're going to have hot routes. They're going to be looking to kind of burn the Steelers over the middle of the field, which seems like that's what's happened the past couple of weeks as well too.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how the Steelers can keep up with this Colts offense in a shootout. Yet maybe they'll stop them a couple times because you still have TJ Watt, still have good like front seven. But in general, though, over 60 minutes, I just think Shane Steichen is going to be able to outsmart this defense here
Yeah.
for Pittsburgh. And let me double check. Who's their defense coordinator here? Terrell Austin. Terrell Austin, he's going to be looking for a new job at the end of the year because I think
Yeah.
that's the big. This is not the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that I'm used to seeing.
Especially with the amount of money that they're paying for it. So this defense has not been good. I also want to point out too, like this offense has not been good either. Like I know everybody's Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf. They haven't thrown for over 250 yards in a single game. Their best offensive performance, where they had 396 yards, was on Thursday night against the Bengals defense, which is one of the worst in the league. Other than that, they've only gotten over 300 yards twice, with 313 yards against Minnesota, and then 335 yards in Week 6. I'm not sure who they played in that one. But they've really just been relying on explosive plays. Like I think the 313 yards against Minnesota was over in Dublin. I think 80 yards of that came on the DK Metcalf play. That was like a 20-yard dig route that he ended up just taking to the house. And so I have serious concerns, especially when teams like the Green Bay Packers, they were able to do it for a little while there in the first half, but can this team just dink and dunk their way down the field and consistently, methodically move the football when the big play is not there? And so far, they haven't really been able to do that.
Well, and so this goes back though to and I agree, but if you go look at the Steelers team from the past couple of years, they've been able to do that offensively and get
Yeah.
away with it because his defense has been a top 5 defense in the league. And
Yeah.
now they're not. I mean, they're one of the worst defenses in the league. And so I think your point's valid. However, this is kind of what we expected, I think, from the Steelers. Yes, it's great. Like preseason, like it's cool. Aaron Rodgers goes there. He pairs up with Mike Tomlin. They go and trade for DK Metcalf. They could
Yeah.
probably go and put up 21, 24 points a game on average. And occasionally have some big blowout games here. But in general, like, so, yeah, what was that? 34, 17, 21, 24, 23, 31, 25. So, yeah, like they're looking to get 24 points per game or whatnot. And I
Yeah.
think if you're a typical Steelers fan over these past couple of years, you would take that. But when your defense is giving up, let's do 32 in week 1 of the Jets, 31 to the Seahawks, only 14 of your Patriots. Patriots super overrated. I'm just joking. Obviously, Ryan's a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
21 to the Vikings. Now 9 to the Browns. That's a lot for the Browns. But then 33 and then 35. Like that's in general, that's not a recipe for success for any team. Go ask the Bengals. But if you're the Steelers though, and if this is the style of football you're going to want to play, where it is a grinded out type game, you got to be able to have a defense that can grind it out.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to have a defense that can grind it out, or you need to have an offense that can outscore people. And right now that they have neither.
Yeah, and
So
I think we talked about all this. Colts are going to put up another 35 on them. Like
oh,
there's
easily.
I find it hard to believe that the Colts way this how effective this offense has been over the past couple of weeks. They're not even just a couple weeks, this whole season. Like you're telling me they're not going to be able to put up 5 touchdowns against this Steelers defense. Like I absolutely think they're going to be able to do that, and that's why I think the Colts are going to win this game on the road. And they're going to go to 8-1 overall. The Steelers are going to go to 4-4, and the kind of the firm hold that they had on the AFC North is going to go away, and just bring the Bengals back into it. Lamar Jackson's coming back for the Ravens, and they're going to give them some hope. And the Ravens are playing the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. I think they're going to be heavily favored in that one as well. So they really need to figure something out here on this defense for the Steelers. Otherwise, they're going to blow a big opportunity here from what they had from the start of the season.
Yeah. So the who do the Bengals play this week?
The Bengals play. They have a
Chicago.
bye, actually. They play
Chicago.
Chicago. That
Yeah.
could go anyway.
Yeah, that go anyway, but that would put so I'm also picking the Colts. That would put them at 4-4. The Ravens have a chance to go to 3-5. Lamar Jackson is making his return on Thursday Night Football. So they would be 4-4.
Supposed to. Supposed to. Well, we're recording this Monday night. He's supposed to
Yeah.
be coming back.
Harbaugh said that he expects Lamar to play
Okay.
in his press conference today. So the Bengals could go to 4-5. The Ravens could go to 3-5, and the Steelers could go to 4-4. And so now the third place team is a game back. The Bengals are half a game back, and they have the tiebreaker over you with the head-to-head victory. So, I mean, I'm really curious to see, because this division just got so interesting all of a sudden, because Pittsburgh now can't seem to win these games. And so I'm really curious to see how this goes. And they still have they played anybody but the Bengals in their division?
They played the Browns.
Oh, they did play. Yeah, they won 23-9. So they still have to play the Bengals. They play the Ravens twice, and the Browns again. And this Browns defense is good. It's just this offense can't do anything. So I'm excited for how the AFC North is going to pan out. It's going to be the close race that we all thought it was going to be, just
Does
for
not.
all the wrong reasons.
Well, and what's going to be wild too, then, if the Bengals can hang on, then Joe Burrow comes back towards the end of the year, and who
Yeah.
knows? Well, supposed to. Who knows what's going to happen with turf toe? But that's what I think is going to be interesting here. So, in general, though, this video is definitely more about what's going on with the Steelers. While when you watch
Yeah.
the Colts play, you're like, this is an amazing team. And real quick too, shout out to Chris Ballard as well too, GM for the Colts. A lot of people were upset with him, rightfully so. But outside of Daniel Jones, if you go look at this whole starting lineup, all drafted by Chris Ballard, and the oldest guy, well, Braden Smith is 2018, Jonathan Taylor is 2020, but and then Quentin Nelson was 2018. But everybody else, though, well, yeah, well, so outside of those two linemen, everybody else was drafted this decade so far. So still young guys, like all entering their prime.
Yeah.
So they've done a good job developing. I think they just needed that quarterback here. Anthony Richardson, well, it's have fun on your next team next year because Daniel Jones is taking your job.
Oh, apparently they're already
Indiana
in
Jones.
long-term contract negotiations. So
Yeah,
as
so
they should be.
and then they probably will trade if they could trade Anthony Richardson away to somebody. Honestly, actually, too, like if you're the Raiders, I'll give you a 6, and then let's just see what happens. Worst case scenario, put him in a QB competition, but I don't know. So Colts will win in this one here. Would be a little shocked if it is the other way around.
Yeah, no, me as well. And then last thing I'll say, and then we'll wrap up the video. The Steelers' schedule is not that favorable coming up. They play the Colts this week at Los Angeles. Then they play the Bengals again. Then at Chicago. Then they play the Bills at Baltimore. Then they have the Dolphins, which should be easy. But then at Detroit, at Cleveland versus Baltimore to close out the year. That's a tough remaining schedule, especially for a lot of those teams are going to be vying for playoff spots. They need the win either as a wild card tiebreaker or to be competitive in their own division. So this is a tough slate here for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it for this episode here. Let's go ahead. Let's wrap things up. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Indianapolis Colts? Will it be the Pittsburgh Steelers? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.